In 1995, I was in Medjugorje, and it was this feast, and they wanted, in the English Mass, Gregorian chant, so I was able to help to guide with the Missa de Angelis, but it was all under the shadow of this, which we climbed barefoot, Krzyżować. You may or may not know that one of the reasons why, allegedly at least, Our Lady chose that place is that there is, from about the 1930s I believe, a relic of the True Cross on what is now Cross Mountain. And things have been happening there, especially in recent times, big time. The cross, as it happens, people come back with pictures and give me things. You may not see this too well from where you are, so I'll explain what it is. It's that cross. And on the negative, this came out. Miraculous light, as it were fire, around the relic in the centre of this high cross on Krzyżować. This also, this will need help because it's not clear from where you are, so I'll explain. In this, as well as real people, you can see two who weren't there. My friends aren't quite sure whether it's Our Lady and St. John or Our Lady and St. Joseph. Whatever it may be, they're miraculously there. Our Lady at the foot of the cross, which we celebrate actually tomorrow, Stabat Mater Dolorosa. Today, East and West are united. In around 2013, I was able to be at the place where it all happened with 5 ladies from Ireland, a homemade pilgrimage with Bible in hand, nothing organised, just the Holy Ghost day to day. And the Lord guided every step. And little interventions were very consoling. Come along, you can be the 3rd priest here in the grotto, at the High Mass, at the dawn, in Bethlehem, and so on. There's only place for 3 priests at the altar. And on the Friday, all that goes on in precisely that complex, which is collectively referred to as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is actually an agglomeration of chapels. Now, there, many things happen. I'd like to concentrate for a second on Calvary itself. On that Friday, it's interesting to see actually how it happens. It's what they call the status quo. They sort of get on without things being written in stone. It's an agreement. This bit is yours, that bit is yours, and the churches get on. And they clear the decks for the Latin Rite, that's us, to take over the whole complex at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And they go from chapel to chapel, which each, as you know, has a place where something happened. Here is that of Mary Magdalene, and so on. Then you come up eventually to the point where our redemption took place. But before you get up there, if you look carefully, you can see a place where they've left open the naked rock with glass to protect it. And if you look carefully, you'll see blood, and you can also see a crack. Now, the precious blood has there, it's fallen and left a trace for all humanity, and pilgrims have always talked about it way back. You can see the precious blood, and This cross was there at a point where the whole of that Calvary Hill was split in two. Tradition has it that there's a skull underneath, possibly that of Adam. Anyway, Golgotha, it's the Greek, actually the Hebrew of Gulgulath, which is a cranium, a skull. And if you go up to the altar which they have, the Greeks, you'll find eventually, as is their tradition, not a three-dimensional cross, that's our tradition, but an icon cross. Now, there something happened fairly recently in time, which was caught on modern means. It was when they had finished work on restoring the Holy Sepulchre. In the afternoon of Good Friday, the eyes of the two-dimensional crucifix at the point of Calvary itself opened and stayed open, and it was able to be caught and can still be seen on the media, and then went back into sleep. Moreover, if one goes further around the sepulchre, one comes, of course, to the point of victory. And there, things happen. In fact, modern electronic sensory machines have found that there is a powerful pulsing energy around the sepulchre. Its maximum on Holy Saturday, when there's an outburst from heaven, igniting the candles of the Patriarch. But all through the year, and this is the puzzling bit, there's a high level of strange, inexplicable energy in that central part of the cosmos where our redemption took place. Now, there is a difference between the Greek cross, which is there, and the Russian cross, which I have here. It's the footrest. In the Russian tradition, it is always diagonal, and there's a reason for that. Every time one gazes upon the cross, one is shown that part of the work still depends on us. Yes or no. The Lord turned to one side and said to the good thief who was there, because he was a criminal, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Caught in the film of Mel Gibson, and caught also by our confrère La Trappe, now long deceased, Père Marie Bernard, who carved a wonderful image of this which went round the world, the regard of Christ looking towards the good thief, Dismas. And of course it would make sense, for that earthquake which caused the crack in the rock indicated that the veil of the temple was torn in two when the Lord said, "It is accomplished," and all the old covenant was coming to fulfillment, and the Sancta Sanctorum was open. We have entry into glory. Today you'll be with me in paradise. The word which Charlie this week perhaps heard. Well done, good and faithful servant. Martyrdom. Entry, 1 second later, into cosmic glory. Yes, a lesson for all the youth of our world. How many young people now sacrifice that youth to pleasure, to drugs, and a happy ending in suicide, with all eternity ahead? Charlie, give an alternative, and perhaps he'll do more good where he is now than had he lived on. The mystery of God is what it is, as our own Sister Claire Crockett would have found, as Carlo Acutis has found. Those in glory could still work on and speak on. I want to dwell for a second on this part. When I was growing up, We had bunks. My brother was underneath and I was on top. But I still have actually next to my bed a picture of Christ the Good Shepherd, which I sometimes used to kiss before going to sleep. Our faith as Baptists was very simple, but it was the same Christ. And moreover, from my bunk, I could also see a cross if I looked through the window. It was the cross over the roof of the church down the road. Presbyterian it was actually, but I used to go there every Saturday evening. And there I'd give my life to the Lord, because we were young people and we had Bible studies going on there. And that, say what you like, changed a lot. And without it, I probably wouldn't be here today. That grace which comes to all our brethren throughout the Christian world, the likes of Charlie Kirk, is the same grace that touches the immortal soul, the grace of Calvary, to which the soul must say yes. And that yes is what the Lord is waiting for. And there's no shortcut. It's not enough, my friends. I remember Benedictine telling us this, an Ampleforth monk. You can't just rely on the sacraments. There has to be a personal engagement. And if that is not there, we end up with what? The big Catholic sin of abuse of grace, which leads to what? Hardening of the heart. The soul that receives the Lord without thanksgiving, like Judas, and walks out. The soul that, having received the Blessed Sacrament on the tongue, uses that tongue to swear and curse and hurt and harm. The soul which has adored the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, with the eyes, windows of the soul, uses those windows of the soul to look at pornography, bad adverts in the street, or whatever it might be. Abuse of grace, presuming that it's all taken away by the next sacrament. I've got news for you, my friends. It came out in the Monastery of Purgatory. Catholics have an awful time in purgatory because they have more graces than the others. We abuse what we've got, which should be a lesson of humility to us before our brethren across the world, both Eastern Orthodox, who have great reverence for the things of God, and our Protestant brethren, who at least when they're praying are praying and not doing something else. The high-speed prayer that we have is not pleasing to Our Lady. We don't address each other at high speed. We shouldn't do Our Lady either. And as regards liturgy, this notion of minimalism to which we got used in Ireland is a scandal. How can God be shortchanged and man also? We're handling the divine, and the divine deserves the best that we've got on earth. We've been given means to create beauty and honour and consolation. How many is divine? And we have a share in it, and we just can't be bothered. I conclude, my friends. Call me a heretic if you like, but I'm convinced of this truth. Grace is what matters, and the abuse of it leads to big, big trouble in the beyond. So let's get our act together and learn from these Protestant martyrs that grace has to be collaborated with and not abused lightly.
Et in unum Dominum salutem,